Mackenzie. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for being here. Today you are seeing my second attempt at filming this video. This is my December wrap-up. I filmed this a couple of days ago. I went to edit it yesterday, and the file was corrupt. We're living our best life in 2023 already. So I am going to go back through, do the December wrap-up, and try to muster as much enthusiasm as I had before to now. I have my handy dandy Chromebook right here, and we're just gonna go back through my spreadsheet for December. So typically in my wrap-ups, I will talk about books in order that I finished them, because I feel like that gives you a pretty good understanding of how my reading mood went, or reading month went, and therefore the mood that I had. But I don't really have that. I guess I could technically do that, but that would be pretty difficult. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go in some order. One of the first books that I finished this month was House of Many Ways by Diana Wynne Jones. This is the third book in the Howl's Moving Castle trilogy. This is about a girl who goes to live with her, like, estranged uncle, because he has like some vaguish magical disease that needs to be cured by like elves or something. So she has to go like house sit his house. But his house like has many ways. And like another boy is staying there also because he's like training in magic, and vague plot ensues. I gave this a 2-star. It was kind of really bad. Like, I know the intended audience is for children, but doesn't that mean then that the plot should make more sense? That it should be easier to follow? That the characters that were in book 1 are also in books 2 and 3 as main characters as well? None of those things are correct. I hated it with every fiber of my being. Next, it looks like I also finished House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. I was reading this for the Literally Dead book club. That's originally why I picked it up, but also I really enjoyed The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. So House of Hunger is about vampires, but not really. So we follow Marion, who is living in the slums in the South and is really poor and has like a really bad life, and she's like, what's the worst that I could do if I go north and become a blood maid? Be taken care of. So she goes north to live in the House of Hunger, where she serves the Countess. She realizes that this Countess also has other blood maids, and it gets very Dracula from there. It's, like I said, they're not vampires. They're humans that just drink blood, which almost makes it worse, I think. It was kind of weird and creepy and ick, but I loved it. Well, I kind of wanted a little bit more from the characters and a little bit different scenes to have been written. I still felt like it was a really, really solid novel. I gave this 4 stars, and I really just can't wait for whatever Henderson is going to put out next. I also read the Heartstopper Yearbook by Alice Oseman. This is basically just an art book of Heartstopper, the characters, the inception of these characters, character profiles. It's a really, really cute behind-the-scenes type novel, and I think if you are already reading the Heartstopper novels, I think that means that you like graphic novels and artwork, and I think that this would just be something that, while it doesn't further the story, it does give more, which is always good. I also read Signal to Noise by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. Classic. It was so good. I did a reading vlog / reading my favorite author video. I'll link that up in the cards above because I really enjoyed it. Silvia Moreno-Garcia continues to be my favorite author. I go into kind of depth about the books that I've read from her and the ratings I gave and how I would order them from like most favorite to least favorite of the favorites. Like, can there even really be a list? Signal to Noise is Moreno-Garcia's debut novel that got reprinted because of her success lately. I continue to buy everything that comes out physically. I've bought Mexican Gothic twice because I found the hardcover and I was like, oh, you're coming home with me. But I need her stuff to continue to be printed because I love it. I'm not gonna say much about this novel because I did do that vlog and I do want you guys to go check out, but I did give it 5 stars. I also read The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe, which is a short story. I hated it. I'm going to tell you the content warnings because no one should go into that not knowing what's gonna happen, but be aware that this is the entire story because it's about 5 pages long. So this is about a man who has all of these animals and a wife, and then he starts drinking and becomes an alcoholic, so content warning for that. And then he starts beating his wife and beating all of his animals. And our titular character, the Black Cat, really gets the worst of it. It very much reminds me of Telltale Heart. However, I cannot stand by the Black Cat because there is like literally no excuse for animal abuse, like at all for me. Humans deserve it. Animals and children, pure. They didn't ask for this. Adults, free game. I also read Legends and Lattes in December, which I'm really happy about because everybody's been blowing up about this. This is by Travis Baldree. This is the high fantasy, low stakes, side quest D&D scene. It's so freaking sweet. We follow Viv, who is an orc who is tired of adventuring, and really the beginning part she says something about how all orcs die a gruesome death. And she is not going to have that for herself. So she chooses a different path. And it's so freaking cute. So she goes and settles down in kind of like a cosmopolitan type town and opens a coffee house in an area where people don't know what coffee is. Jackal, can you please stop banging on the door? It is such a sweet little adventure, and I didn't realize that I wanted cozy fantasy, but now I just need it. So if anyone has any other recommendations about cozy fantasy, please leave them down in the description, in the comments below, because I want more, and I'm sure everyone else does too. I gave this a 4.5 star. Then I did a reread of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I am going to be putting out like a reread adventure of me rereading Erin Morgenstern's The Night Circus and The Starless Sea because I have claimed these 2 books to be my absolute favorite books. If I'm going to make a top 10, they're definitely there, probably in the 1st and 2nd positions. So I decided that since it had been 10 years since I read The Night Circus and The Starless Sea plot continues to elude me sometimes, it was time for a reread. So I did my reread of The Night Circus. I'm not going to talk too much about it here, but I did absolutely love it. The Night Circus, I think, is pitched to everyone as a duel between 2 magicians, and that is not the case. I would much more pitch this as 2 magicians who are bound together to showcase their magical abilities, and the winner wins and the loser loses. And what nobody expects is that this kind of ends up being a love story, but not just between our magicians. It is absolutely more a love story about what it is to be human and humanity and all of the little things that make being human, like memory and experiences, and it's being in love with that. 5 stars. And then finally I rounded out December by reading Light from Uncommon Stars by I can pronounce it if I know what the letters are. Ryka Aoki. I have never read anything by this author before, but now I absolutely want to read everything that they have done. 5-star book. This was absolutely insanely good. I didn't expect anything. I didn't know what to expect, but this was amazing. So this is about a violin teacher named Shizuka Saitomi, and she has made a deal with a demon, not a devil, a demon, to be the best violin player ever. So the deal is that no one can hear her music. Like, her music cannot be played publicly. And in turn, she will be known as the best violin teacher. She will sell the demon 7 souls. And then once the 7th soul is sold, Satomi's music will be played again and everyone will get to hear her music. So she has already given up 6 souls. She is trying to find her 7th soul, and she happens upon our second point of view character. Her name is Katrina Nguyen. She is a transgender runaway that Saitomi finds in the park. And Saitomi is just like, you are perfect. I need to teach you. She is a beginner, which is not really what anybody would expect of Saitomi, and it's really about them kind of understanding each other and this kind of cute found family type relationship that they develop, with the premise being that Katrina is a transgender runaway. We do deal with a lot of sensitive issues and topics such as sexual assaults and dead naming, being outed, a lot of like traumatizing things that happen to the queer community. So if you think that this kind of sounds like maybe something you want to take a peek at those content warnings before you get into, I highly recommend it. But I will say that for everything that is discussed, it is handled with a lot of care, and nothing is told that is just for character development, nor is it just grotesque or explicitly described. It is much more to discuss overall themes that the story is trying to discuss. And I think that that is what makes this story beautiful, is that everything is done not for characters or development, but for theme and thematic work and what we're trying to actually discuss about how can art and how can music mean so much to us, and how can those be the only things that we want to talk about when there are real life issues like, you know, religious wars and sexism and racism and things that are still so violent and volatile, but we are focusing on the beauty of things and for why. And that is such a beautiful, beautiful theme to explore. So I really loved that. 5 stars. So I think this kind of rounds me out to, I think, about 8 books. I do have 2 books that I carried over into the new year with me, one being Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin, which is a really good book. It's just really heavy. So this is the one where there is like a apocalypse that affects people with the majority testosterone in their body, and we follow 3 transgender main characters as they're trying to survive. And then I am also reading with my coworker Queen of Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. This is like the 4th book in her Throne of Glass series. It's the 4th book in an 8-book series. Like it's pretty good, but you know, if you want that. And also, Miss Maas, she wrote for the times, and I'm not out here saying that this is something that maybe is better than other things, or that you should definitely be picking up in 2022, because I do think that there are other better, more developed fantasy. I am just doing this with my friend. So this is not a recommendation for you to be doing this. I recommend you pick up other newer fantasy, because that's what I try to do. Anyways, that's gonna round up my wrap up right now. I'm about to start losing my voice, so that's awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, let me know in the comments below what your last read of 2022 was and what your favorite read of 2022 was. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll see you later. Bye!